Hey, good afternoon, YouTube. We got a nice, beautiful day. Good day to look at the mountains. Really nice today. We're in between storms here, so we're just waiting for the next round. We actually got winter to show up. Otherwise, you wouldn't see much snow up there. But it is a nice day. More coming in tonight, supposedly. We shall see what happens. But let me interrupt this nice viewing scene. So our 559 did a good video. This will be a VR to him. He asked for VR, so I figured I would oblige. I'm a nice guy like that. He asked about, he was just curious, and I had to write notes because otherwise I wouldn't remember all he said, but it was good. But he's asking about if we took out all the things that we can't affect in the world, how that would change our perspective and our outlook on life and what we did in life, etc., etc. Let me pull up my notes if I can get to the right page. Yeah, all our concerns, and only focus on the personal things that we can affect. And he had some good examples. Well, let me back you off a little bit here. He had good examples. You know, we can't affect North Korea, China. We can't affect what Trump says. The Dems are Republicans taking over. Environmental, chaos. They just don't have any effect. We can't affect their lives. We don't have effect on them. But looking at the personal things that he brought up, jobs, kids, neighbors, things like that, things you do have. If all those outside things no longer existed, what would you be doing different? And I think everybody would be doing something different, because, I don't know how you prepare your kids for those influences of the outside world. You prepare them to deal with them and be able to counter them, or be prepared to progress through them, or to be able to mitigate the effects they have on their lives, or whatever. You teach your kids to minimize those things and the effect they have on their lives as well. Just like a lot of the things you do with prepping are meant to mitigate those outside influences, whether it's the inflation of the Fed or the effect of foreign governments, the effect of our own government. Everything you do in those cases is done in a way to mitigate their effects on you. So yeah, I think everybody's life would change drastically in how we were living. Well, maybe not, morally how you were living. Morally, I would live the same way. I think life would be a lot easier if I wasn't worried or focused on those things. But you'd still want to raise your kids and have relationship with your neighbors, personal relationships. And what would I really do anything different? I wouldn't have to worry about money, so I wouldn't need a job, right? So I wouldn't have to worry about inflation anyway. So I could just raise pigs and goats and live a carefree life of a farmer and self-support and help out the neighbors and go on. Am I misreading this? Am I misreading what you're talking about here, seller? Because you take out all those outside influences that you can't affect. If those didn't exist, like he says, focusing on the micro really takes out a lot of the things that you do on a daily basis. Because you really wouldn't need a job, right? Why would I go to work? If all those other things are gone, there's no other outside influence, monetary. Would the monetary system still exist? That's really a big influencer. I'm getting really to the crux of the question, because inflation is bad. And you got to work to outpace inflation. So if I can eliminate that from my life, I'm living pretty easy. You know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying things. You'd still have to, you got the local things you need to worry about with, I guess, so if we'd had a local economy that, just worked off of, you get what you get. There's not a big inflationary prospects of inflated currency. You'd be living a life O'Reilly might not be the way, but you would get your just reward for the work you've conducted. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have to be worried about those things. So, exchanging trade with your neighbors, maybe you're working a job for some just currencies or just monetary system, you'd be all right. See where I'm going with this, Seller? I guess it kind of depends on what you really eliminate. I mean, you talked about eliminating all those outside concerns. If you eliminate all of them, it gets pretty simple. Life gets pretty rosy, pretty quick. Obviously, you could have health issues and things like that. But you take out the inflationary monetary policy, you can pretty much afford a doctor. You might have a lot fewer doctors around because nobody would have that necessarily. I don't know. There's a lot of things that wrap around our daily lives that we do worry about. Like Seller says, it engulfs you. Like he said, he's involved in too much that pushes us on, I guess, pushes us into this one way of doing things, or the way we do things. It's a really good video. Link it below. I just wanted to put some comments in. I think it'd be great to live like that, because really a lot of things we do live towards in our daily are meant to counteract those outside influences, whether it's morally or spiritually, economically. We counteract a lot of those outside influences by what we do on a daily basis. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, Seller. I'd have a lot less to do on YouTube. I know that. If that was the case. But question for you, Seller. Why are you watching Fox News? Come on now. Man, I haven't watched Fox News in like 6-7 years. It's been a long time. I barely go to the website anymore. So just maybe that's your problem, Seller. Just get off Fox News, you'd be all right. You said you were weaning yourself off, so we know you're recovering. But it's a good question for everybody to ask. Do a VR to Seller if you think it appropriate. They're free.